Trump is a fascist. Mamdani said he will work with Trump on affordability issues while standing by his past remarks. And Nepal's former Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli will soon face formal questioning of alleged atrocities during the Gen Z protests. We begin with the United States. There's a new leadership alliance and camaraderie that has gripped political discourse in America. Zoran Mamdani and Donald Trump. Friday's Oval Office meeting between the NYC mayor-elect and American president took everyone by surprise after Trump heaped praise on Mamdani and even seemed to accept the accusations made by Mamdani earlier. The New York mayor-elect has several times called Trump a fascist and a despot, while Trump has previously called Mamdani a communist. But at the meeting, Trump vowed to help Mamdani and dismissed any party line differences with the Socialist Democrat leader.
But I just want to congratulate. I think you're going to have hopefully a really great mayor. The better he does, the happier I am. I will say there's no difference in party. There's no difference in anything. And we're going to be helping him to make everybody's dream come true, having a strong and very safe New York. And congratulations, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Please.
Pats on the hand, big smiles from Trump, and gently touching Mamdani's arm gave the whole media interaction a civil, friendly atmosphere between two leaders from the opposite political spectrum. Trump also went on to say that Mamdani will do great things for New York. Mamdani, on his part, said that while both leaders disagree on certain matters, there is willingness to work for their benefit or for the benefit of New Yorkers. In days after the meeting, Mamdani still stands his ground on calling Trump a fascist and everything else he has said in the past as part of his election campaign.
Everything that I've said in the past, I continue to believe, and that's the thing that I think is important in our politics, is that we don't shy away from where we have disagreements, but we understand what it is that brings us to that table. Because I'm not coming into the Oval Office to make a point or make a stand. I'm coming in there to deliver for New Yorkers.
On Sunday, Mamdani praised his meeting with Trump, calling it productive and issue-focused.
Feeling good coming out of that meeting. I thought it was a productive meeting, and I appreciated that in that meeting it went back to cost of living, cost of living, cost of living. We spoke about things that all of us have been paying attention to for quite some time, whether we're speaking about housing or public transit or childcare.
On Trump's part, his plans for troop deployment to New York remains on the back burner for the time being. The Republican leader said other places need the troops more, and troops will be deployed to New York if they need it in the future. The response shows a shift in the U.S. president's tone towards Democrat-run cities.
Do you still plan to deploy the National Guards to New York City?
If they need it. Right now, other places need it more, but if they need it, we had a very good meeting yesterday. We talked about that. But if they need it, I would do it.
Zoran Mamdani will officially assume the role of New York's mayor on January 1st next year. That is still more than a month away. And so the question here is, will the newfound bonhomie between the U.S. president and NYC mayor last? Joining us now live is Adele Nazarian. She is a senior media fellow, Gold Institute for International Strategy. She's joining us from Washington, D.C. Adele, it's good to see you. And I'm sure you did see what happened at the White House during the weekend. First of all, how did they both fare, according to you?
Great to be on with you again, Eric. Yes, this was definitely shocking for a lot of people, but if you've been, reading the tea leaves, so to speak, all along, I think they both fared pretty well. I think President Trump knows exactly what he's doing, and frankly, what I think this was a pretty strategic play of political theater, but President Trump is very tactical, not emotional, and I think people underestimate him. I think between the two of them, Trump came out the strong man, and he purposely did this because he is trying to get ahead of the attacks. He's trying to get away from, let's say, the old Republican Party, which the Romneys, let's say, the Bushes, the Reagans, they would have never done something like this. So I think this was a very strategic move, and I think that President Trump definitely got ahead of the 2026 disruptions that were going to divide the party lines even further.
Ms. Nazarian, there's
it's a piece. It's a detente for now.
There's this sense of how long will this relationship last? Because there are some people who are saying that this is a relationship of convenience. What do you say?
I think there's nothing convenient about this. I think this is extremely inconvenient for both sides. But I think what this is very strategic in that, President Trump has never followed the Republican script. This may make them angry. But I think the GOP leaders had planned, and I think Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, is very good at adjusting and being malleable with this. But basically, the GOP leaders had planned to make Mamdani the face of the Democratic radicalism, basically, for 2026. But President Trump disrupted these plans. So I think you can see, and this is clearly an indication of this, a display of this, that Trump has never been the messenger for establishment Republican strategy. He prioritizes his base, and I think that we know based on 2016 that he literally is a very non-traditional Republican candidate. He has taken from the Democratic Party, from the Republican Party, from everywhere in between, and it's showcased that he takes, let's say, the best of whatever there is, and puts it all together in his own kind of brand. And what this does is it also signals, frankly, a shift away from traditional party lines. And I think that he knows going into 2028 and beyond, because this is what's going on, right? 2026, 27, 28, beyond. President Trump's not going to be president, commander-in-chief for more than his second term. And I think he's setting the stage for a new Republican Party that will shift a little bit more to the center and be a little bit more all-encompassing, showing that, let's say, the old guards kind of reaching across the aisle, let's say the Scoop Jacksons of the world, which are very, very few and far in between. He's allowing for that once again to resurface, but knowing that, here's Mamdani, obviously they're not going to be best friends, they're never going to agree ideologically, but at least President Trump knows that he's reeled him in. He's showing a little bit of a detente, but letting him know that he's the boss. President Trump's the boss. And if Mamdani goes a little bit too far off, he can reel him right back in. Let's not forget about that. President Trump was always the king of New York. And that's still President Trump's territory. That's his base, his turf. So he's letting Mamdani know who's still the kingpin, who's still the boss. I think that's what this press briefing was really about.
All right. Ms. Adele Nazarian, it's good to see you. We'll have to end it there. Thank you for talking to us today.
Thank you.
Let's move on now. In Venezuela, supporters of President Nicolas Maduro marked his birthday under the shadow of tensions with the United States and Washington's naval buildup in the area. Maduro turned 63 on Sunday, which overlapped with voting across communes of the country to elect communal projects through popular consultation.
We call on all Venezuelans, all the states, to support our president. Today is the chance to say, Venezuela wants peace. Venezuela is at peace. Venezuela today celebrates a project.
Venezuelans are rallying support behind Maduro amid rising tensions after Trump ordered covert CIA operations in Venezuela. U.S. military buildup has also been underway in the Caribbean, with the Trump administration intensifying pressure on Maduro and pushing for a regime change in Venezuela.
Our people trust fully in the mandate of our President Nicolas Maduro and do not feel that disturbance or that threat that something might happen. But if something were to happen, the people have taken up arms and we have trained, we have prepared ourselves and enlisted to go to the front when it is our turn to defend the homeland.
Just last week, the Trump administration designated Maduro and allies of his government as Cartel de los Soles, a foreign terrorist organization. The designation paves the way for sanctions on Maduro, but many fear the use of escalated military force. Venezuela has slammed US's military buildup near the country and accused Washington of trying to overthrow Nicolas Maduro. US, on the other hand, has called its deployment in the seas an effort to curtail drug trafficking from the region to American soil. Susan Teherani is our correspondent. She is in New York. She's now joining us live. It's good to see you, Susan. The American government under Donald Trump has termed or designated Maduro and his allies and members of his government as a foreign terrorist organization. What is America doing and what's the significance of this brand?
So it's clear that the Trump administration is pressuring Maduro to step down by designating Maduro and those in his inner circle as a terrorist organization, a foreign terrorist threat. They have the ability to not only increase military presence in and around Venezuela, but also impose more sanctions against Maduro, his government, and by and large Venezuela as well. The Trump administration continues to insist that the operations that it's carrying out is because of the drug cartels and the drug that's coming into the United States, as well as national security. However, some analysts believe that what the administration is doing is beyond Venezuela. Venezuela being a very strong ally of not only Iran and Russia, but also China as well. This may be an attempt to get those countries' influence out of the Western Hemisphere. Now, Reuters had an alarming exclusive yesterday saying that the U.S. is poised to launch a new phase of operations in the coming days. That's against Venezuela. So things might be heating up. Under normal circumstances, there may have been some diplomatic talk. For example, Maduro recalling the U.S. ambassador to Caracas to sort of settle this diplomatically, at least for a short while. But the Maduro government expelled U.S. diplomats from Venezuela back in 2019. There is no really formal diplomatic relation between the two sides. So things are very tense and we're watching it very closely.
Susan Teherani, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you. Nepal's former Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli will soon face formal questioning of alleged atrocities during the Gen Z protests. A commission formed to investigate the incidents that took place on September 8th and 9th will question Oli and other senior officials next week. The Judicial Inquiry Commission has completed 2 months of its 3-month tenure. It plans to question Oli as well as former Home Minister Ramesh Lekak, the Chief Secretary and the former police chief, among others. The panel is currently reviewing the evidence from the officials, security personnel and witnesses, as well as collecting statements. The commission was formed on September 21st by Interim Prime Minister Sushila Karki. The panel is tasked with identifying the causes behind the violence, vandalism, looting, arson, and recommending action. The Judicial Commission has worked on the details of personnel deployed on September 8th and 9th and questioned them about the incidents of both days. Now, according to the commission, they were asked how the situation escalated to firing on September 8th and how the protest turned to vandalism and arson the following day. Statements from around 30 security personnel, including police constables and officers, have been completed. Apart from the police, the commission also requested details from the army regarding its role on September 9th, following the criticism for its inability to secure major offices of the nation. The army is yet to respond. The 2-day Gen Z movement on September 8th and 9th unseated the KP Sharma Oli government, where at least 72 people were killed as the government tried to suppress protesters. And for more details, our correspondent Saloni Murarka has sent us this report from Kathmandu on KP Sharma Oli's grilling of alleged atrocities during the Gen Z protests. Watch.
Nepal government is taking a firm stance on Gen Z movement investigation. Prime Minister Sushila Karki has said that anyone found guilty will face action. She also said that the commission is working independently and that the government is prepared to take action or arrest anyone the report holds responsible. including former Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli and former Home Minister Ramesh Lekhak. Gen Zs have long demanded action against these both leaders. Meanwhile, the current Home Minister Om Prakash Aryal has said that the government will assist the Commission to record the statements of those individuals who failed to appear before the Commission. This was a remark aimed at Oli. KP Sharma Oli on multiple occasions has rejected and refused to cooperate with the Commission. On September 8th and 9th, under Oli's administration, almost 76 people lost their lives and 2,000 were left injured, with many government and private properties torched or vandalized. The security agencies of Nepal used excessive force against the youth. This investigation commission is taking a full account of the destruction to file its final report by December. Saloni Murarka reporting for WION from Nepal.
As the week began, Australia's parliament witnessed an uproar over a controversial act by lawmaker Pauline Hanson. The far-right leader wore a burqa to parliament session after she was denied permission to introduce a bill on banning the burqa and facial coverings. And this is not the first time she has done that. Watch. There is a nationwide strike unfolding in Belgium. Trade unions have called for a 3-day public transport strike against austerity measures that the government has in pipeline. Now, visuals emerging from Brussels show railway workers marching inside and outside stations, holding banners and megaphones, chanting slogans against pension reform measures.
On strike for 3 days because they make a lot of economy in railways. They like to have like 675 billion of euros of economy. So we're also against the fact that the pensions of the railway personnel is increasing, and we have to work harder and longer. So instead of going on pension on the age of 62, we have to stay until 65, 67 years old.
The strike will continue till Wednesday and is planned in 3 phases. Trains and other public transport are on strike right now, with trains running partially. Euro trains running between Brussels and Paris stand cancelled. On Tuesday, public schools, creches and hospitals will join the strike. On the 3rd day, that is Wednesday, unions have called for a full general strike across all departments and industries. No flights are expected on Wednesday at Belgium's 2 main airports.
And so I do support the strikes, even if it's uneasy for me, because I'm a mom and tomorrow I have to fix somewhere between my work and looking out for my kids. But I think it's a good thing that people are passionate to go on the street and say what they want.
Unions called this massive strike as a response to Belgium government's decision on the 2026 budget, which includes cuts to pension and social welfare schemes. The budget proposal also decreases retirement age, triggering outcry. The capital of Honduras witnessed an action-packed Sunday as 3 candidates closed their election campaign just 6 days before citizens go to the polls. Presidential candidate Rixi Moncada of Castro's ruling Libre Party lashed out allegations of election stealing in the presence of thousands of supporters. At the moment, Moncada has a consistent lead in popularity polls.
We will have our own quick count. They are not going to steal this election. We are going to be informed and we are going to defend our vote.
The second candidate out to woo voters is Nasri Asfura from the National Party of Honduras. As his supporters cheered on, Asfura promised to defend democracy and reject what he called failed ideologies.
The whole world will see us differently because we are different, and we will not accept failed ideologies. We will fight head-on for democracy and freedom.
Lastly, thousands of supporters attended the closing rally of right-wing candidate Salvador Nasrallah, who is representing the Liberal Party. Supporters at Nasrallah's rally levied accusations of possible election fraud taking place next week.
Look, the fraud may be planned, but the people will defeat it at the polls. The Honduran people will go out to vote and we are going to win.
Honduras will hold elections on November 30th. More than 6 million people are eligible to cast their ballots in this tri-cornered contest. And that's the latest on this edition of Race to Power. Thank you for watching. Do stay with us. This is WION The World is One.